Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. There's over 150 people watching now. That's a big number. And I really want to thank you very much for coming on this late in the evening on a Tuesday. And I want you to share this with your friends and family. This is for the entire community out there. The whole South African community needs to take note of this live stream. And this is in the important live stream series. And you will find a playlist on this channel called Important Live Streams. You can go and watch the others if you have not watched them yet. So I think it's important that you understand the importance of Bill Gates making worldwide statements and the fact that the worldwide media of all sorts is putting this information out there and why this is important. Those of you that have been to WOD's meetings will understand the importance of this, especially the first round of meetings, the last round of meetings. I covered this in detail as well, but I very specifically gave you information around what my father told me one evening at Malpostrand near Ouskop Caravan Park. He took me literally into the washwater of the sea there because he said then no one can hear us, and I thought it was absolutely crazy to do that. We had to take our shoes off, roll up our long pant legs and walk into the water. And he put his hands on my shoulders and spoke into my ear. And the information he gave me was with regards to a time that'll come where tiny little things, as he said, would be used to wage war on the people of this world. He said nuclear weapons would not be necessary. And one thing that he told me rang so true with regards to Bill Gates' warning. And why do I see this very important? We'll go into the details of that right now. I've got 4 articles open of various media that is covering this, and there's many more. So there's 4 examples. I'll put the links to that in the description below this video, as well as in the first comment. So you can go and read those yourself. But the important thing that he says here, and my father said this to me meticulously, is that a different pathogen will be used to exterminate the people of this world, to reduce the population of people in the world. And Bill Gates didn't put it in those words. What he did say, and I can't say that what my father said is true or anything like that. I need to warn people because he told us about this pandemic. He told us that he didn't give a timeline for it, but exactly how it would play out in South Africa, textbook style. And I can't ignore that. I have to take it seriously based on what has transpired. And he said we would be given a break after this kind of eases off. There would be a 2-year break period. And interestingly, in one of the articles, Bill Gates mentions time frames where he believes that another pathogen, something completely different, would come and kill up to even 30 million people. And, those might all be postulations from him, but this is important. Bill Gates serves on the committee of 300. Wow, we almost have 500 people watching. And so did my father. In the beginning of 1984, January 1984, in Geneva, Switzerland, my father was involved with a committee of 300. He served on that committee, and he told me about that evening. And he meticulously told me about a time that would come when the world would be put under house arrest. He spoke to me in Afrikaans. He used the word huisarrest. And I obviously thought that he was crazy. For those of you that are new, I need to give you this information because this is what he told me specifically. Now, Bill Gates, the other thing that he told me is that something different would be used to really start having an impact on the world's population. I don't want to go into too hectic detail. We're on YouTube. This is an open platform. This is not my member section. In my member section, I can discuss things a lot more freely. But what he said is exactly what Bill Gates is conveying right now. And we need to take this seriously. It doesn't matter how you feel about Bill Gates. He serves on the committee of 300. His father before him served on that committee. that runs and administers this transition to a one world government. My father fought what the committee was doing for the rest of his life and paid with it with his life. So, you know, I did not have a normal childhood. I did not ask for any of this. But I do believe I need to warn you right now, based on what Bill Gates is saying. And I think you should take it seriously. We have over 500 people watching, almost 600. Please share this video with friends and family. It's very important. So the first article here, headline, comes from DNAindia.com. Another pandemic soon after COVID-19 question mark. Bill Gates issues stern warning. And a lot of these is very, very similar. So the next one, India Times. So this is really being played out in India, and you will see many people spend time in India recently, including the founder of Amazon. Okay, hint, hint. Bill Gates, COVID's coming under control, but another pandemic coming. So this is the headline. Okay, all based on what Bill Gates said on my wife's birthday, the 18th of February. Bill Gates warns COVID-19 risks reduced, but another pandemic is at hand. And the main thing is what he said, and this is exactly what my father said. The next pandemic will be a different pathogen, Gates said. He's telling you what's going to happen, okay, because he knows. Let me go on to the next article. So I need to warn you, just remember, this whole pandemic now was a wolves in sheep's clothing, getting people to get annoyed, frustrated with their governments. It had to play a very specific role. And people are falling for this hook, line, and sinker. And then, bam, you hit people with something that is very real, very, very dangerous, far more dangerous than what we dealt with recently. And what do you have? A bunch of people that Forbes says Bill Gates warns of epidemic that could kill over 30 million people. But when Bill Gates says something like this, there's a reason for it. Okay, so I want to continue with what this article says, and then I want to explain to you how this is going to play out. I can't give you time frames. It's not possible for me to give you time frames. I'm not a prophet like other people claim that they are prophets. I don't claim to be a leader, a prophet, a savior, or any of those things. I'm just giving you information. Bill Gates is a smart guy who knows something about global health. Okay, this is what Forbes says. Now, I might not agree with anything they say here. That's not what's relevant. What's relevant is what Bill Gates is saying and the agenda that's being driven. So when he gives a grave warning about a potential catastrophe, it's a good idea to listen. Now, I'm telling you that there's a different reason why you should listen to him. He has insight on what is being discussed in the committee meetings. So did his father before him, and his father was a sworn eugenicist. Yesterday at the Munich Security Conference in Germany, the man who tops the Forbes richest person in the world list and is co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation said, whether it occurs by a quirk of nature or at the hand of a terrorist, epidemiologists say a fast-moving airborne pathogen could kill more than 30 million people in less than a year. And they say there is a reasonable probability the world will experience such an outbreak in the next 10 to 15 years. Now, a lot of people told me that they think things will happen a lot faster. When Bill Gates says 10 to 15 years, take that seriously. He will tell you how soon this would happen. Now, I told people when I did my meetings that I cannot see it happening before 2030, before Agenda 2030 has come to fruition, because the United Nations and the power that control them need to know the situation we find ourselves in the world. How many people have complied to what level with Agenda 20, the UN's Agenda 2030? Where are they at? And then adjust their plans accordingly. So what he says in this paragraph is extremely important. And this is not going to be a long live stream. I would love to go and do a couple of things with my family still. Whether it occurs by a quirk of nature or at the hand of a terrorist. And my last live stream I did, the first one I started on Bill Gates' warning, saying that they are putting a task force together to deal with biological terrorism or viral terrorism. And he is serious about this with the World Health Organization. That was the first warning. Now, with the next warning, he's telling us that it will be a different pathogen. He's saying it, and he's giving a timeline in the next 10 to 15 years. Okay? Could kill more than 30 million people. So more than 30 million people in less than a year. Okay. And they say there is a reasonable probability the world will experience such an outbreak in the next 10 to 15 years. Who is the they that he speaks of? Ask yourself that question. When I listen to what Bill Gates has to say, I listen carefully. I listen to what he's not saying. I listen to what he is saying. And I read between the lines. And those are all important things to do. Notice that this was at a security conference and not a health meeting that he said this. Therefore, he could have focused on some other issue, such as nuclear weapons or climate change. But he did not. He focused on this. Okay. But Gates chose to focus on infectious disease threats, whether starting naturally or used as a bioterrorist weapon for good reason. Our society is in need of a good wake-up call and slap in the face. And people, I want to tell you something very simple and profound. We need to be able to breathe clean oxygen within the air that is around us. We need at least 16% oxygen to sustain life. If we can breathe in oxygen, that's 16% or above naturally occurring. We have about 20% oxygen in air without pathogens in it. We can live a healthy life and live to a very old age. This doesn't normally happen. We breathe in all sorts of freaking nonsense. But besides that, when you breathe in a pathogen that's been designed to kill you, you have very little chance, if the intention is for that pathogen to kill you. Your chances are very limited and small. And probably the only thing that would save you is knowledge. Firstly, knowing about a threat, and then wearing a SCBA, a self-contained breathing apparatus, or being in some place where you are not exposed to whatever it is that he is talking about. Because he knows exactly what he is talking about. And the article goes on to say our society is woefully underprepared for a bad pandemic. So consider how people have felt about the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm not going to go into that topic or give my opinion on it because it's irrelevant. I want you to think about a real threat, a real pathogen that is intended on killing lots of people, whether at the hand of nature, as he says here, or a bioterrorist. We cannot not consider this. There's many reasons why I'm telling you that you need to take this seriously. And you can listen to me, you can forget this, you can laugh at me. I really don't care at the end of the day. But I feel it my duty to warn you based on what I know. Take Bill Gates' warning seriously. If you don't, live with the consequences. If you have children, please consider them. The time frames that he has given, I consider serious and important. This is why I've told people that we have time in South Africa to do things up to the point of 2029. If we don't get things sorted by then, we will not be in a situation to protect ourselves against many of these threats. Time is running out. We have 7 years left to turn things around in this country. And a lot of people will say, but the world's would have ended by then and all sorts. I don't have time to listen to you for quite a few reasons. You don't know. And secondly, I want to prepare for any eventuality. I don't care when it's going to happen. That is normal, self-reliant living. And I would encourage all of you to do exactly that. So I'm not going to go into the rest of the article. I will make sure, wow, we have over 800 people watching now. I will make sure that you get a link to all of these articles I've mentioned. Go and search what Bill Gates has said. Just remember, he served on the committee. He is serving currently on the committee of 300. He might be out of favor with him, but he's still serving there. I have no reason to believe that he has been replaced. One thing you need to understand about the Bavarian Illuminati that Adam Weishaupt founded at the mouth of Amschel Rothschild is that they believe that we need to know what is going to happen. It needs to be proclaimed to us. We should all, in other words, hold responsibility for what we allow to happen to us. So we will always be told, whether it's through Hollywood, whether it's through Disney, I don't care what Netflix, anything that is available, you will be told what is going to happen. Always. All the information is out there. You need to know how to sift through it, look through it, get rid of the rubbish, because the rubbish is immense. The people that are telling you that they are saving the world, they are everywhere. I can't save the world. I can't save the country. I can only try and mitigate what's happening to my family on a daily basis. That is all I can do. So I'm not going to save you. Don't trust other people that say the same. Knowing what I know, nobody can claim that they can save you from anything. Only you can do something about what is coming our way. I really want to thank the more than 800 people that have joined this live stream. I'm not going to keep you up much longer. I'm not going to give time for questions now, because it is important that you understand the information that I want to pass on to you. And the last bit of information I want to give to you is what my father lastly says. And this is not his words. This is what I'm telling you. Take the Georgia Guidestone seriously for a future smart community. There's a number on those Guidestones. When you look at that number, it correlates exactly with a number my father said would be the amount of people typically that they would keep behind in a smart city system. So think of that. How do you get the number of the world population down to 500 million? How do you do that? Don't think this is a joke. Most of the tinfoil hat people out there are going to get you to go to your death if you're not careful. We have time to prepare. And I hope that you join us in making that preparation in your life. And the first thing you need to do is make yourself as self-reliant and as independent of government and corporate control as you can. I'm going to say this over and over. If you're new here, there's 5 things you need to focus on investing in: water, food, shelter, energy, and something to keep you sane. In there, you can have a fulfilling life. The things that keep you sane can be endless. There's many things that can keep you sane. But start with making sure that you invest in water, not rely on government to give it to you. Food, not rely on a shop or a corporation to give it to you. Shelter, make sure that you have your own shelter, that you can create your own shelter, that you can travel in shelter or to shelter. Energy, make sure you have something to keep your body warm. And once you have that, and you've got things to keep you sane, you are in a position to help them, thousands of people across the country, preparing for any eventuality to become part of a unit that can make South Africa unique in the face of these iniquities. And let me tell you, when these things start to happen, and they will happen, we need to be prepared. And if we are prepared in South Africa, we will be able to weather the storm. And we will be able to do things to protect ourselves from this. And the time will come when you will have to. So if there's something that you need to look up tonight, it is this: SCBA. I've spoken about this a couple of times. Try and find out near you where you could find something like that. And there's 3 other things that you need to remember with regards to being contaminated with anything: time, distance, and shielding. Time, distance, and shielding. The time that you're exposed to something, how far you are from the thing you're being exposed to, and the shielding you have from it. If you're not shielded from a pathogen, as Bill Gates said, you are going to be exposed to it. If you're exposed to it, you are going to be affected by it. The time that you are exposed to it will make a difference in how severe that effect is. How far you are from it will definitely make a difference in how much exposure you get. So, time of it, how much exposure you have, how far you are from this pathogen. In other words, you can remove yourself from the source, or you can shield yourself from the source. Okay, so I have very specific plans for myself and my family. If we need to do anything specifically to make sure that we are not exposed to a pathogen, and the safest place you can be is a hot, dry place. Other than that, the best place to be is a place where you are isolated from, far from, no exposure to a pathogen. If you can create that environment, kudos to you. It is possible. It's not very easy, but it is possible to do that. So, people, just consider this. When Bill Gates put out this warning, and I'm going to end now, he is actually trying to warn the world. As much as you might hate the guy, everything that he's done, the fact that he believes everything that's going on is maybe because of all the information he has, because he sits on that committee. In the thumbnail that I use for this video, he's wearing a small little ring on his chest. Okay? That little ring represents 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Bill Gates and the UN are almost one and the same. I mean, he helps fund the World Health Organization. He helps to fund many of the things that the United Nations does. He's hook, line, and sinker in bed with their ideologies, which is fully in line with the Bavarian Illuminati plan. And because of that, take his warning seriously. I really want to thank you for coming into this live stream. If you want to watch the other important live streams I've put out there, go to the important live stream playlist and watch those videos. If you're new to this channel, watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series. It's incredible. We've almost had 900 people in this live stream. And I want you to like this video and share the video so that other people can get the content. And when I have meetings in future, I will give you more details. But I've always said to people, things will happen to you that will make you or force you to change your life. A lot of people that moan and bitch and say, but I'm telling Pity, Sunny, and Kwesi to change how they think. Stop. Things will happen to them. Sort yourself out first so that you do not become a leech if and when times become tough. We have time. We need to prepare. And I'm so glad that Bill Gates has confirmed what I have always thought, time-wise, roughly, the time frame that things will play out in. And I think that those are better time frames than many of the other time frames flying around out there. And there's many reasons for that I'm not going to divulge right now. Just understand one thing. Based on all the information that I have, I will give out certain information that you would need or can choose to use in your life to prepare yourself. I'm not going to give you information that's going to confuse you or make you lose hope, because that's pointless. There is hope, especially for people that remain in this country. Stay here. Don't leave. Stay in South Africa. We live in a special country. We have special people here. And because of that, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying bringing you information. And it's so awesome when all the efforts I've put in is validated by someone that is so close to what is happening behind the scenes. Thank you very much. I hope you have a stunning evening further. Good night.